Hello and welcome to Tom Wainwright Reads Books. This here is my BookTube channel and I'm going to be talking about all things books. Hello to anyone new and also hello to my loyal subscribers. There's over 100 of us now, which is so exciting. So yeah, I'm going to do a little video today about some of the books that I have been reading. I think when I set this channel up, I think I wanted to do more book reviews. So whenever I finish the book, I do a review of it. It'd be quite a short thing. And I definitely will do that. I've just got a bit carried away and I've just been reading so much that I've kind of forgotten to do that. But I think that's okay. I think some of the other YouTubers that I follow, they will occasionally review books, but they more do updates on what they're reading, and actually what they do is they'll film themselves after the first 100 pages or 200 pages and you'll go on the journey with them until they complete the book. I really like that, without any spoilers as well. It's a really fun way of looking at BookTube content, and so I think I might try and copy that. I am a little bit too late and I'm very invested in a series which I've not been filming my reactions to at all, but we'll come on to that. But as a little update, I did say I would do a review of The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. I've kind of already said everything I need to say about this book. I put it in my top 10 books of all time. I did that. I finished this book on the morning that I made a video called My Top 10 Books, and I put it in there because I was blown away by it. I'm happy to keep this at a 5-star. 5 out of 5 for me. This was a great book. Just fantastic book. I'm not even sure I care that much about starring books. I don't even know if I will when I continue on doing reviews of books. As I was watching a video of a YouTuber the other day, and they're talking about how star-rated systems, like they're fun, they're useful to sort of go, oh, okay, this is a 4-star, this is a 5-star, but people just view stars so differently. Some people automatically, every book they pick up, it's a 5-star until they feel like it kind of doesn't hold up to the start of the book and it turns to a 4, maybe a 3. Some people, just everything's a 3, and they're like, yeah, completed that. That was great. That's a 3-star. And if it's really good, maybe a 4. And if it's like unbelievable, it's a 5. So people just view it differently. And I don't really know what I think. I just I randomly pick a star. I don't know. For me, I couldn't have improved this. I could have actually improved this a little bit. There's a few things in the story which I cringed at a little bit, and that fantasy does that to me sometimes. I sometimes get a little bit like, oh, okay, that's a bit cutesy, and there's a bit of cutesiness in here which I might have changed. But I say that some of the trauma in this book is so well written, by a teenager. M.L. Wong, I think she was a teenager or maybe in her early 20s when she wrote this, so just amazing. And she's got another book out, another standalone book, Blood Over, I can't remember what it's called. There'll be a picture of it there, hopefully. But I've got that in my pipeline to read by the end of this year as well. But yeah, I read that. 5 out of 5 for me. It's sort of epic family saga meets fantasy, Japanese inspired fantasy as well, with a bit of a sci-fi twist as well. But I'll let you discover that if you pick this up. Highly recommend. The last book I told you guys I was reading was this, Stephen King's It. So many things to say about this book. I was going to do a big review of this book because it's a big boy. It's over 1,100 pages long. I'm in a show at the minute, so I've got my days pretty much free. So I've had a lot of time to read, and I got through this pretty quickly. It's amazing. Even if you've not seen it or read it before, I'm sure you'll know of Pennywise the Clown, one of the best villains ever. I just think, this book was so good. Star rating it was pretty much a 5-star throughout the entire thing. This did bother me, this book, as well. And I've not watched any sort of reviews of this book by any of the people that I follow here on YouTube or on BookTok. But there is... it's kind of a spoiler. No, okay, for a non-spoiler video, I will say this is amazing. You follow 7 different points of view. These 7 kids in the late 50s in Derry in Maine, on the east coast of America, in this little town that is haunted by this creature underground. And you sort of go back and forth between the present day when it was written in the late 80s, and you cut back and forth. In terms of writing, it's amazing. I mean, Stephen King, you know, he's sort of described as like the king of horror, but just his writing, it's just amazing. He writes so well. So if you're someone who's a bit like, I'm not that into horror, like, I pick up a Stephen King novel anyway, because it's just so beautifully written. Some of the best characters I've ever read are in this book, and the way that he combines both these storylines and the way they sort of, you just know when you're in late 50s, late 80s, and it kind of goes back and forth. It's just amazing, and it sort of twists and turns. It's just so good. There is one thing that happens in this book which really took me out of it. It's a chapter right near the end, and it's so odd. It's a very strange ending, but I'm trying to not spoil anything. But there was something that happened which I just felt was like not okay. And I'm not very prude with things, and I've read some, you know, historical fiction where horrific things happen and they're described in detail, and you're aware that the author is just letting you know the blunt reality of life at that time or whatever. And there's something that happens in here which made me deeply uncomfortable. I didn't enjoy it. It took me out of it. I sort of looked up when I was reading it. I think I was on the tube. I was like, what? I mean, what was Stephen King on when he was writing this? I mean, subsequently, having like done a bit of research, quite a lot of cocaine, I think, is the answer. But he writes this storyline. It made me feel uncomfortable. And then we got back into this sort of like epic ending, which was amazing. But I kind of couldn't rub off this sort of awful feeling that I'd read something really creepy, and not in a good way. I won't say any more about that in this video. I will just say it was great, but I'm sort of like, what was the need for this bit of story? Yeah, I think that's what I'll say. But overall, pretty amazing. And this has primed me for some more Stephen King later this year. But for now, Stephen King has been put back on the shelf. And literally an hour after I finished that book, a book was staring at me on the bookshelf, and it was this, Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a very popular book here on YouTube and on TikTok as well. And it's sci-fi. And I've not read much sci-fi before, but I was excited to read this. I was so excited, in fact, I read it in a day and a half. This is the story of a colony on Mars. The class structure is done by colour, and the lower colours, red being the lowest, they are workers, essentially slaves. And right at the top of this hierarchy are the golds. And this is the story of a red called Darrow, who's our main protagonist, and he infiltrates the golds to try and destroy this structure and cause a rebellion. And it's his story about how he does that. It reads like YA. It's really easy to read. A young adult could easily pick this up and really enjoy it. And I thought for a few chapters, because it's all done in the first person and it's very pacey, like there's no breath, you don't pause at all, there's no sort of like quiet moments, it's constant right from the get-go. And I sort of was like, oh, it's cute, it's like an action film I'm reading. And I was like, well, I'm enjoying it. But then it started to hit me, some of the things that happened, and there are a lot of twists and turns even in this first book. I just got so attached. I really cared about these people. I really cared about them. And I could just tell I was obsessed, because I finished this a day and a half later and immediately picked up this, Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, the second in the first trilogy of the Red Rising trilogy. And I read this in a day and a half as well. I just zoomed through it. They're only like, yeah, this is like 450 pages. The first one's like 300, yeah, just under 400, 450, basically the same size. And I just read them so quickly. They are really easy to read, and they're written well. I'm not saying they're like simple books. Like, they're written really well, they're really fun. But I got through this, and this carries on the story. I won't do any spoilers. I won't go into detail about this because you want to read this first. But I finished this very quickly as well. And now I'm on the third book. So this is it, Morning Star. And I'm only about 100 pages in to this. I'll probably finish this tomorrow morning. It's so good. It's so fun. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's painful, but it's so good. So I'm well invested in Pierce Brown's world, and I'm so grateful to YouTube and to TikTok and to the other sort of vloggers and booktubers that I follow for recommending this series, because it's so fun. My heart's already breaking because I know that, you know, certain storylines will end, and that's breaking me. However, Pierce Brown then has a third trilogy set in this world, and I believe this is set much later in time. So who knows, we might have the same characters. It might be completely new characters, I don't know. But we have Iron Gold, Dark Age, and Lightbringer as well. These are a bit chunkier, these guys, which I'm just so excited to read. I'm probably going to carry on straight away. Depends how I feel after this. If I'm emotionally wounded, I might need a break, but it's there. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing at the minute. I'm just reading a lot. I did a little video last week, I think it was, about books I'm really excited to read. And Red Rising, to be fair, was on that list. But then I remembered that there are just so many other books that I'm excited to read. And I'm thinking that, you know, depending on how this goes, if I feel that a little break would be good for me, because I have been pretty... I've just destroyed these books. I've gone through them so quickly. If I need a little bit of a break, there is one book that again has been recommended on YouTube, all over BookTok as well. It is this, Susanna Clarke's Piranesi, which I've deliberately not done much research on. Everyone who has talked about this book has just been like, you need to discover it for yourself. But I will read out the blurb. I will read out what this is about, or at least what they tell you on the back of the book, just so you get an idea. Here it is, Piranesi. Piranesi lives in the house. Perhaps he always has. Then messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house. But who are they? What do they want? Lost texts must be found. Secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. The beauty of the house is immeasurable. Its kindness, infinite. That's it. That's all it tells you. This has been, Women's Prize for Fiction 2021, the winner. Apparently this is amazing. I am very excited about this. Also, now that I Google books all the time because of what I'm doing here on YouTube, my algorithm is sending me the Folio Society, is it Broken Binding? Another company that just make the most beautiful hardback collector's items books. And there's an amazing Folio Society cover of this, hardback of this, that if this is really good, I really want. I don't know why. I've got a perfectly decent copy here, but I think it's the collector in me wants to have it. If it's good. It might not be. I might hate it. I might give it 1 star. Who knows? So yeah, that's what I've been reading. I'm currently reading Morning Star, and this is the end of the first trilogy of the Red Rising. And I just can't recommend this series enough. I mean, it's a cross between Hunger Games, Star Wars, and I'm going to say it, Game of Thrones. Even though this is sci-fi, it reads like fantasy. If you enjoy Game of Thrones and you enjoy the politics and the scheming, I think you'll enjoy this. It's perhaps not as in-depth, but it's visceral. And I think a lot of people even put this in their top fantasy picks because it kind of blurs lines a little bit. It kind of feels like fantasy when you're reading it. I think it's so well done. It reads like a film, like I said before, and that's actually quite a good thing. I think it's so entertaining. I'm surprised this hasn't been made into a film yet. or a series. I'm imagining, I haven't Googled it at all, but I imagine the rights for it were bought straight away, because you can just tell this could be an iconic bit of film or TV. I just recommend this. Please, if you've read this book and you enjoyed it, let me know. Or if you didn't, like, absolutely, please let me know. I just want to talk to someone about this. I have been begging friends at work to read this so that I can finally talk about it with someone. But it's just so fun. So that is my little update on what I've been reading. I will get to doing some book reviews. I really enjoyed doing my one on Hamnet. I found that really fun, and just thinking about it in a non-spoilery way. I am considering, though, doing a full spoiler cast, as it were, of some books, because you can't talk about them. Like, some books you just have to talk about them in their entirety. And I feel like I could do a great non-spoiler review, but I need to chat to someone about that weird moment near the end. It's so weird. I don't know. If you know which bit I'm talking about, be careful how you talk about it in the comments, but let me know what you thought. Maybe no one cares. I mean, so many people, as I say, I'm not a prude when it comes to reading stuff, and I don't mind if something was written 100 years ago and they're using terminology or describing things which are really horrific to today's standards. I wouldn't mind that. I'd understand that. But I was just like, this is too much. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But that is it for now, apart from one other thing. I've shown you Piranesi. There's actually two other books that I'm really excited to read, and I thought I'd cram that in here as well. One of them was bought for me by my dad. And he bought it for me in my favourite bookshop in the world. It was my mum's favourite bookshop as well. It's called Toppings & Co. or Topping & Co. in St Andrews up in Scotland. There's also one in Bath as well, if you're close to there. And he bought this for me. This is Bernard Cornwell's Waterloo, and it's just a little history book on the Battle of Waterloo. That is because now that I'm in my 30s, I've discovered that Napoleonic history and also naval warfare is really up my street. Oh, I just love it so much. And I got a bit obsessed with Horatio Nelson, Lord Admiral Horatio Nelson. And I've actually got some massive books that I need to read. I've got this one here. I've got another. Here it is. I went through a bit of a phase last year of just trying to find out everything I could about Nelson, and I just loved it. I listened to the Rest is History podcast, one of the best podcasts in the world, with Dominic Sandbrook and Tom Holland, and they did like a big series all about Nelson and also about Napoleon as well. And Dominic Sandbrook has a bunch of kid books, and one of them I picked up. It's this, and I read this. This is Adventures in Time, which is like a series, and it'll be like Adventures in Time in World War One, and it'll be like a World War One story that's really digestible for like young kids, not even like teenagers. I think like even like 10-year-olds would be fine with this, I think. And this was great. This was so good. This was all about Horatio Nelson, done in a sort of like fiction style, but with a little bit of like history thrown in. It's clever how it's written. And this was all about his life. And I loved that. And I read that little kid's book last year, and then I got a bit obsessed, and I bought John Sugden's Mighty, A Dream of Glory, the Nelson biography. And I've not read that yet. I'm just waiting. Look at that. Look at that. It's got some lovely pictures in there as well. Oh, I just can't wait. And then I got this one. What a great title. Britannia's God of War. Andrew Lambert's Nelson. I can't remember who called Nelson Britannia's God of War. I can't remember who it was. I've become rusty in my Nelson knowledge. But this is another fantastic biography, apparently. So I want to get to those, definitely. And the Waterloo book that I've forgotten to talk about, this was my dad basically being like, well, you've got to find out what happens after that. And, you've got Wellington. Is it Wellington? Must be. Yeah, Duke of Wellington. You see how Nelson sort of, was the hero of the seas. Well, who was the hero on land? And it was Wellington. And this book, my dad said, was ace. So he bought me a fresh copy. And I really want to read that. But then I was in my local bookshop last week, and I just finished it, and I was just deciding whether to start Red Rising, and I picked up this Dusk by Robbie Arno. I think I might have mentioned this in my previous video, so maybe I'm just repeating myself now. I think I actually have. But this is an independent exclusive edition with sprayed edges. Some people don't like sprayed edges. I quite like them. Look at that colour. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, this is a little signed copy, which is cute. Yeah, it's an Australian story by an Australian author, and it's the story of, I think, a brother and sister who are hunting a wild animal in the Australian bush, I think. And yeah, this book here reminds me, it's a little bit of The Sisters Brothers by Patrick Hewitt. And this one, I definitely feel like I've already mentioned this before, but this book here, absolutely incredible. If I end up doing a video soon this week, it will probably be on unusual books that I recommend you read, and this will definitely be on there. This, talking about Red Rising reading like a film, this is almost filmed in scenes. You know, the way the author describes the characters, you can just feel the camera hovering over their shoulder or just over a fire. And this is the story of two cowboys. One of them, two brothers, and one of them's awful, one of them's quite nice. It's their story. Great book, great book. So yeah, actually I want to reread that. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up. That's what I'm going to try and do. But in terms of the channel, I think I've already alluded to it, but I think I'm going to start doing what some of my other favourite booktubers do, which is sort of take you on the journey with me as I read a book. I'm probably a bit too late with Morning Star, the third Red Rising book, but I'm thinking of doing it. And yeah, and then starting to play around a little bit with my editing as well, because don't get me wrong, doing a little desk vlog like this is great fun, but I might start trying to learn a bit more about how YouTube works and making my videos a bit more fun, and yeah, and just trying to get better at this, whatever this is. So yeah, also I completely forgot this, what currently my phone is resting on. Another book I told you I was reading right when I started this YouTube was The Inside Story of Test Cricket, Bazball, and I actually never got past the first 60 pages. I started this channel and then I got obsessed with, what was my first book I read on there? Was Hamnet, could have been? No, Sword of Kaigan. It was Sword of Kaigan, and I just completely forgot about this. This has just been a prop for my camera for the last few videos, but I actually do really want to finish this, and I think maybe I might need to break this up a little bit because I've just been steaming through. I don't want to ruin it by just like completely ripping through it. So I do want to finish that as well. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a few more vlogs, just weekly ones at the minute, with a few more fun videos about yeah, recommending unusual books, because a lovely person, a subscriber, commented just saying, I think they must have heard me say in a previous video, like, you know, well, this is really popular on YouTube or something along that effect, so to that effect, and they were like, just do what you want to do, because that keeps BookTube interesting. And I kind of was like, yeah, dang, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I might do a few little things like, here are three books that I've read that are not mentioned on TikTok or on YouTube that often, and I think they're really worth your time. Things like that. But we'll see. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a brilliant week. Please let me know what you're reading as well in the comments. I love just knowing where like people are watching from, and I've got loads of people from all over the world to be messaging, which is so fun, which is so cool. So please let me know what you're reading, and have a great week.